So Dr. Fauci is at it again, folks. It's possible Americans may still be wearing face masks in 2022. Fauci believes that by the end of the year, the United States could have a significant degree of normality beyond what the terrible burden that all of us have been throughout the last year. I personally, with this experience, am probably never going to not wear a mask at a grocery store ever again. I'm probably never going to not wear a mask at, like, big social gatherings ever again. Just because, like, I don't want to get sick. Like, we've seen one thing this year that's actually very promising. And that's that the amount of the flu, the seasonal flu, has actually decreased tremendously because of COVID mask protections. I've also been double masking. But yeah, so like, that's something we have to really, why would you go to the grocery store with your mask off? Like, do you really care if people see your lips at the grocery store? You know, I can say, like, maybe go to a restaurant, right? Like, I could not personally envision a scenario in where I would go out without a mask on at any point, especially in the wintertime. But let's read this. This is an article from Fox News, so you know it's going to be juicy. Director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, Dr. Anthony Fauci, told CNN's State of the Union on Sunday that it is possible Americans may still need to wear face masks in 2022, even as the country could approach a certain degree of normality. While Fauci noted he can't predict when the U.S. could return to the way it operated during the pre-pandemic life, he believes that by the end of this year, the United States could have a significant degree of normality beyond what the terrible burden that all of us have been through over this last year. As we get into the fall and the winter, by the end of the year, I agree with Biden completely that we will be approaching a degree of normality. I prefer the word normalcy. I don't like normality, and I don't like reading that over and over. It may or may not be precisely the way it was in November of 2019, but it'll be much, much better than what we're doing right now. So let's watch the little clip here. Just kidding. I have Fox News muted.
You and the president have suggested that we'll approach normality toward the end of the year. What does normal mean? Do you think Americans will still be wearing masks, for example, in 2022?
You know, I think it is possible that that's the case. And again, it really depends on what you mean by normality.
If right, normality that's what I want you to define
exactly the way it... Yeah. No, Dana, it's important because if normality...
I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from it. He shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen.
Exactly the way things were before we had this happen to us. I mean, I can't predict that. I mean, obviously, I think we're going to have a significant degree of normality beyond what the terrible burden
I hate that word,
that
normality.
all of us have been through over the last year. That as we get into the fall and the winter, by the end of the year, I agree with the president completely that we will be approaching a degree of normality. It may or may not be precisely the way it was in November of 2019, but it'll be much, much better than what we're doing right now.
Why do you think Americans might have to wear masks into 2022?
You know, because it depends on the level of dynamics of virus that's in the community, and that's really important because that gets.
Is normality really not a word? Because I know it's normalcy, but I just took for granted that normality. It is a word. The condition of being normal, the state of being usual, typical, or expected. Now, normalcy. The condition of being normal, the state of being usual, typical, or expected. They're both identical.
Back to something again that you said. If you see the level coming down really, really very low, I want it to keep going down to a baseline that's so low that there's virtually no threat, or not no, it'll never be zero, but a minimal threat that you will be exposed to someone who is infected. So if you combine getting most of the people in the country vaccinated with getting the level of virus in the community very, very low, then I believe you're going to be able to say, you know, for the most part, we don't necessarily have to wear masks. But if we have a level of virus that is at that level that it was months and months ago, like 20,000 per day, is a heck of a lot better than what it's been, but that's still very high level of virus in the community. I want to see it go way down. When it goes way down and the overwhelming majority of the people in the population are
All right, you get the point. I don't need to play any more of this. But basically, again, there is literally not a single possible reason why you would not wear masks, at least during the wintertime. I really don't understand all these people that want to go to the grocery store with no mask on. To me, again, who cares? Just go out, be protected, protect everyone else, and get your shit done with. No one goes to the grocery store like no one goes to the grocery store trying to like hook up with a hot fucking date or something, like, unless you're looking at like the clerk at the fucking like cashier or whatever. Unless you're trying to impress them in some capacity, just fucking put the mask on, dude. Like, seriously, again, humans need to stop having these bizarre fixations on, like, I just will never understand that shit. Put the mask on. You will be seeing 2029, I will have my mask on at the grocery store, because why the fuck wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? Like, seriously, it's just, as far as I'm concerned, it's basic hygiene. As far as I'm concerned.